Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to a new episode of the Genesys Cloud Community's Q&A show, the show where we answer your pressing questions in the Genesys Cloud online community. My name is Matt Lawson. I'm your online community manager, and today we're talking betas. Not just betas, we're also going to be bringing up another magical keyword, SalesForce. Don't worry, how we're going to connect those two topics actually makes sense if you watch the whole episode. But we're going to start with a really cool announcement. The community now has a Genesys Cloud community dedicated to betas. So if you want to follow beta announcements, betas that are opening so that you can join and participate, or at least apply, that's going to be the community for you. After that, we're actually going to be hearing from one of the betas that's going to be opening very soon. And we're going to follow up with a question that came in from a community member named Vaughn about the SalesForce integration with Einstein and Genesys Cloud. It's a little bit of a path, but we got there. It all works together. And we're going to close out the episode by announcing who won the 3,000 member contest in the Genesys Cloud community. So it's going to be a good episode, maybe even a great episode. Let's get to the episode. We're going to start by talking with Alyssa, who manages the new beta headquarters community. Alyssa, welcome to the show. Alyssa, welcome to the Q&A show. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to talk beta with you guys.
Let's start with you, Alyssa. Can you talk a little bit about who you are, what you do at Genesys, and your new role that you just recently came into this year?
Sure. So again, my name is Alyssa Cox. I work with Nadia Ox and Mike Szilagyi on the product management and the product strategy and operations team. And what we do, sort of our mission, is to make product managers' lives easier, right? We're looking at our processes, we're looking at our approach to product development, our approach to releases, our approach, in this case, to beta, and trying to figure out ways to improve processes and deploy tools to make all of these processes run more smoothly, and to get better integration with our customers on a lot of these processes. So beta in particular, we get a lot of feedback, and our job is to try to incorporate that feedback into how we get work done to better meet everybody's needs. And so I want to actually start with, what was our objective?
Yeah.
We got feedback that customers and partners didn't know what betas were coming, weren't sure how to enroll in betas, how to express interest, when to express interest, how do we make sure that if we're interested in a beta, it doesn't pass us by and we miss the opportunity. That's really relevant feedback for us, because when we release something to beta, it's because we want your feedback. So we're absolutely looking to connect people who want to provide feedback with the product management teams who need it to make sure we continue to release really great products. So this community is a tool that we're using to improve transparency. The other thing that we're looking at, and that drove the choice of a community, as opposed to some other tools that we could have used, was right now, or 2 weeks ago, if you wanted to be involved in a beta, you would email a PM directly. And that email is super important. But our PMs get tons of email, and it's my priority to make sure your email doesn't get lost. It's their priority too. And so what we're doing is looking at implementing tools to get this exchange out of PM's inboxes so it doesn't get lost. And so that was some of the motivation behind the community. And so when we talk about parameters, sort of what is the Beta HQ community, and what isn't it? So first and foremost, it is a Beta HQ community specifically for Genesys Cloud. So we won't be including multi-cloud betas in here. It is just Genesys Cloud betas.
Yep.
It's not all the betas that we run for the whole company.
Right.
The Beta HQ, our Genesys Cloud Beta HQ, is intended to be an entry point into betas. It's not the be all and end all for betas. And so our analytics and reporting team has a community of really active beta participants, and that's where they provide feedback. That's where they talk about updates. The analytics and reporting team may choose to post on the beta community where they're looking to cast a wider net for beta participants.
Yep.
But then they'll be also looking to then direct that double click into A&R. That double click sits within their A&R community. Same thing for WEM. We do have some interest from the WEM team on opening up, getting a much broader enrollment base for some of their betas. And for those betas, the Beta HQ is great because we can post notifications, we can advertise some of these betas, help you get as a customer and as a partner, get plugged into a registration form so that you can get formally registered for the beta. But the details, right, are going to sit, and then double click specifically into the WEM roadmap. That's going to sit with the WEM team. So it's a storefront window, but you got to go into the store and into the different departments in this department store if you want to get all of the details.
Speaking of that beautiful storefront, let's check out the Beta HQ's community page. So yeah. So this is what we've been setting up over the course of time. How can customers navigate this page and maximize their experience on it?
The objective of the community is to improve your visibility to what betas we have coming down the pike and improve your access to join the betas. So what you see in the top row here, featured betas now open. These are cards for betas that are currently enrolling beta testers. And there are a couple of different, you'll see the buttons have different words on them, and those words mean different things, right? When you see a beta card, what you do is you click that card and it'll take you to an enrollment form. Now, if it says join the beta, this is a beta that's open enrolling, and you can expect a response pretty quickly with the beta turned on for your org, right? These are open betas, anybody can join. You see topic mining and intent miner has an apply now button. What apply now means is they're looking to collect interest. This is not a totally open beta. So when you fill out the form, they're going to go through and they've customized their form for the kind of customers, try to pull out the criteria for the kind of customers they're looking for this beta. And there will be, in all likelihood, a subset of customers who will be chosen to participate in the beta based on the criteria. Now, if you fill out the form and you're not chosen for the beta, you can expect to hear that. So filling out the form should not be the last contact here. Even if you're not selected for the beta for whatever reason, you should expect to hear, once selection is complete, get feedback on that you were not selected. It is a form email. It's not customized for why you weren't selected, but you should at least know, hey, you weren't included in this beta, but we still value you and we'd like to see you continue signing up. Yep. So those are the different kinds of forms that we've got. And you see those buttons all link to a form. So we're going to ask you for some feedback about who you are, who your company is, what you currently subscribe to. There will be a couple of standard disclaimers, like we're going to ask you to acknowledge any of our features in beta are not in production yet. So be aware that there may be bugs, that kind of thing, pretty standard stuff. And we're also asking you to acknowledge that, yeah, you're going to provide feedback because that's the point of beta. But it's a form that each of our PMs has put together to collect that information. And that's how PMs are now aggregating their interest in betas. So when you fill out the form, it logs your answers and your interests. So PMs know where to go and where to find out who's interested in the beta. So that's the featured betas now open for enrollment.
Cool. Yeah.
We scroll down. Go ahead.
And the one thing I was going to say is to echo Alyssa, these are all the betas that are currently open and enrolling. As time goes on and we get more betas that want to be featured on the page, we're also going to be including them on the events tab. So this is going to be another good place for you to just keep an eye out, because like we have an agentless email beta that's going to be opening next week. So this is a good place to see what's coming up. Once this event happens, which is scheduled for noon, you can start enrolling. It's not the only time you can roll, it's just start enrolling. And it just gives you a little bit of time to, think about the feature, whether or not you're interested, and to stay in the know and give you a little bit of preparation time as needed. What did you want to point out, Alyssa?
So we also have our beta announcements section, right? And this is a discussion section, just like many of the other communities you're a part of. But this is where you can see we've got PMs posting to let you know it's not just the card at the top, but this is the beta that's coming. Here's what our plans are. Here's what we're looking for. Here's the functionality, an idea of the timeline, but additional information on the betas so you know what's coming down the pike.
Yep.
On the right-hand side, you see beta program FAQs. So this is an FAQ that we've put together. It's a document that we've put together to answer some of the top questions that we get from customers on beta. So this is all about betas. If you have questions about how we run betas, what betas are, what it means, how you get involved, where you provide feedback, this is a sort of a first level of answers that are available to you.
And is this a live document? As in, like, can people expect there to be changes on it, as time goes on and, new things happen?
We now have this great forum where people can ask questions. And so if we start to see certain questions come up all the time, yeah, we're going to keep adding to this FAQ, because our objective is to make sure that you as a customer or you as a partner have access to the information that you need.
Excellent. I know you are short on time because you're about to take a lovely vacation. Anything else you want to share that we may not have had time to highlight just yet?
I do want to point out, and you mentioned this at the beginning of the section, but not every single beta is going to show up in the beta HQ.
Right.
We have betas that are not customer facing. And so we will run a beta test with a very limited number of customers on certain functionality. There are any number of reasons why a PM might choose to really limit who's involved in the beta. That's not to say that customer impact and customer feedback isn't important. It's just not going to be an open beta for everyone to join. So the kinds of betas you can expect to see on the beta HQ are those betas that we are truly looking for a broad set of customers to participate in. And these are the betas that you can they're open betas that you can enroll in. We'll look over the coming months to add a feature to this HQ that shows a comprehensive list of the open betas that are coming down the pike. But again, it won't be all betas, but it will be all of the betas that are available for you to enroll in.
Yep, absolutely. This was great. I'm really looking forward to continuing our partnership on this portal. And like Alyssa said, we launched this because we thought it would be really helpful for you all. That's the main reason why I wanted it, Alyssa wanted it. So to that end, we would love to hear your thoughts, ideas in that community. Alyssa currently has a welcome post up. Feel free to write her directly right there. And if that post is gone, feel free to open a new discussion. We are always open to the idea of making the beta experience, the community experience, all of it better for you, especially the things that we can control. Alyssa, thank you so much for your time. I don't know if you're aware of this, but actually my next guest is going to be talking about a beta that's going to be released here in a couple of days or weeks, and it's related to Salesforce. So we hope it's really exciting for some of the people who are watching.
Oh, this is Wayne and Annie. I can't wait for you guys to hear about this beta. We're really excited about it. I'm really excited about everything. That's my job, but you're going to be excited about it too. I promise.
Excellent. I will have you back on the show. Enjoy your vacation. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Alyssa. Bye. Annie, Wayne, welcome to the show. How are you guys?
Great. Thank you for having us.
Good.
Doing fantastic. Thank you.
Cool. I know we're just meeting, but you've been with Genesys for a certain amount of time, and you've been doing your thing for even longer than that. So real quick, can you give an introduction, who you are, what you do at Genesys? And Annie, let's just start with you.
Sure. So I'm a VP of Product Management, and I'm responsible for Genesys Cloud Voice and our CRM integrations. And we're really excited to talk about today's beta. I've been with Twilio for about 6 months. Prior to that, I was with Twilio. Wayne, over to you.
So my name is Wayne Lee. I'm relatively a rookie in Genesys, but I've been in the contact center space for the last 15 some odd years.
Like I mentioned in the intro and talking with Alyssa, Salesforce is a really popular topic in the community. Last year when we looked at our search terms, Salesforce was number 2, actually it may have even been number 1. Now I'm starting to get confused. But what you guys are going to be working on in your beta sounds awesome. And I can't wait for our audience to learn more about it and how they can register to be a part of what you're doing. So I'm going to step aside Wayne, I understand you have a presentation. You want to walk us through it?
Sure thing. What I'll do is I'll share my screen right now, and then we can go through the screen or through the presentation. So what we'll be going through in this presentation is outlining the differences between what we have today, which is a CTI integration, as well as going through what you'll be getting out of the BYOT integration. We are coming through with a beta program, thus we are on this this episode here, I guess, right now. And so Annie and I will be tag teaming, going through some of the key components or the key facts that you would need before joining the beta program going forward.
So we all know how contact centers are no longer contact centers, and they're really about experience centers. And our customers are really worried about building experiences for their customers and retaining their customers. And where it comes together with Salesforce is really with the data that Salesforce has on the sales and marketing side. So things around cases, contacts, accounts, and how we can put that together with what the content that Genesys has with journey analytics, workforce channels. And just having that free exchange of information between Salesforce and Genesys can really help us create very powerful experiences for our customer. And that's really what our goal is with this integration. This is just the beginning. So this is our very first beta. And it's just really exciting to see how these two worlds are really coming together in the market. So it's really important to differentiate the capabilities that we have today with our CTI integration, which is an integration that we've had since, gosh, probably 2016 or so. That integration is really, it's a prepackaged integration. Again, it works with Service Cloud, Lightning Experience, Salesforce Omnichannel, and high velocity sales. And that's really about embedding the Genesys environment within the Salesforce UI. So it's kind of like a CTI pop-up that comes up. So you have a lot of capabilities, a lot of feature maturity. On the BYOT integration, the experience is very different. Again, it's a prepackaged integration, but what we do is Genesys Cloud powers the Salesforce UI to present that call information. So you won't see a pop-out that's a Genesys Cloud pop-out. It's going to be a standard Salesforce UI component that's powered with APIs from Genesys Cloud. So with that, let me pass it over to Wayne, who can give us a lot more details around the beta that's coming up.
So what we'll do is we'll go through a couple of screenshots that kind of brings both to light. And so when Annie was mentioning the CTI integration, what you'll see over here is a screen that most people will be familiar with on the left side, right? And so you'll see that the CTI integration is the embedded client onto the Salesforce or the Salesforce desktop. And what we're doing is, as Annie mentioned, we are transitioning and building out the Genesys powered, I guess, Salesforce, the Salesforce utility or the Salesforce desktop that you're seeing over here. And so the big difference here is that everything you're seeing on the right side in the BYOT integration, it really is based on the Salesforce native UI. And so as Salesforce is understanding that there is a lot of value trying to keep everything under one single pane of glass, they also understand that you need a strong contact center partner, and that's where we come in. We provide all the routing in the background for the voice side of things. And as we continue on with this BYOT integration, what we're hoping to do is add more of our value through this so that we can provide much more information as well as a richer customized experience for the end user, being the agent who's also on the CRM. And so the first step of going through this is really integrating the voice side of things. And so on the right side, once again, you will see just the voice component out of there. And more so, just skipping on to the next slide over here, here is the kind of screen experience that your agent will be seeing moving forward. And so you're seeing that on the full slide over here, that you get the Salesforce Service Cloud desktop. You see everything that you need to see, once again, from a case management standpoint. But once again, on the left side, you see that all the voice control, the call controls and everything, that is now part of the native Salesforce UI. And so as we continue building out, through this program, you'll see further feature and functionality coming out through this. And most important, what we're hoping is that, because they're partnering with a strong contact center player like us, they will really see the experience as well as the empathy coming through, not just, through the actual UI itself, but by taking the proper insight through our engine. Hopefully, or we're endeavoring to ensure that our agents are able to get the full experience as they need it. And then moving onwards, what people are really interested in is the actual beta program itself. And so we are releasing a beta version of this on April 20th. So that's in a couple of weeks. And what we're hoping is we're we're going to be opening up the beta program to those individuals or those customers that are interested in this. And so in the beta release, what I want to be very clear on is that it's not the full feature functionality you'll get in the GA version, which is coming out later in June. And so what we want to do is provide most of the common use cases or the workflows from a voice side, so that a person or an agent can go through that workflow with, I guess, like kind of go through it like, end to end. And so the biggest difference between the beta and the general availability is that in the GA version, you will have the real-time voice transcription by Genesys Cloud CX, and that will then be pushed into Einstein conversations as well too. And so you will see on the left side, you'll be able to log in through the Salesforce SSO. A lot of the different components are, once again, voice settings, voice components, as well as being able to transfer calls and whatnot. And so as you sign up for the beta, you will be able to show customers like a real good glimpse of what they can expect out of this this integrated experience moving forward. So just keep that in mind. It's April 20th is when the beta release will happen. I believe that signups will be going out sometime next week or the week after. But if you have any questions, please feel free to contact myself or Annie, and we'd be more than happy to walk you through and help you through anything that you need.
I would just add one more thing, Wayne. I think for the beta trial size, we're looking for something smaller, so something on the order of around 10 to 20 agents or so for the beta itself.
Correct.
Cool. Yeah. And I have a question about that. So when it comes to, finding the 10 to 20 agents, in the event you have more people than that apply, is it a first come, first serve situation? Are there certain requirements or qualifications that you're looking for so that you could prioritize, who gets in? Any information you can share in that regard?
Yeah, I would say it's really, a little bit of first come, first serve, but it's also around kind of making sure that we have a customer that's knowledgeable about Salesforce, knowledgeable about Genesys Cloud. That will definitely help and make it go smoother, especially since our beta timeframe is pretty short from beta to GA. And just the other thing is really just making sure that the functionality that they're expecting for beta and also for production is within the realm of possibilities of what we're going to be delivering. So we want to make sure that there's no missed expectations. And a lot of the devil's in the details, in the sense of for example, you might want to have secure pause or secure pause for your recordings. That's something that the BOIT integration doesn't support today. It will support it in the future, but not in this first iteration. So that if you're expecting that functionality for GA, you're probably not going to be the best candidate to use this integration just yet. And CTI is probably going to be a better solution for you at the moment. Wayne, would you add anything else on top of that?
I think I just emphasize once again, as you said, voice is a key here, right? And so if your customer, your prospect is a heavy digital user, right, would not be a good candidate for this beta release or the beta program. What we are really focusing on are voice type use cases.
I don't think I have any more questions. This is a really exciting release, and I know you're going to be leveraging the new Beta HQ community that we just set up last week to announce your beta and then also give updates kind of as the beta is going through its life cycle. So a lot of great ways for community members to stay in touch with you. And hopefully when the feature is finally released, you can come back on the show and show it off.
Awesome. We're really excited to use that new community functionality for the beta. I think it's a great environment for us. So, and a great way to exchange feedback, questions about the beta. So definitely stay engaged. If there's any questions, post them on the community page, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Wayne, Nate, thanks so much for stopping by the program. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. Thanks. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great. Better now that you're here. In the community, I frequently get asked if we can cover different topics on this show. And lo and behold, your area of expertise popped up. And from my perspective, it was the fastest transition ever of asking somebody if they'd be interested in being on the show. And I think a few days later, here you are. So everything happened serendipitously, and I love that. Can't wait to hear more about what you're doing with Salesforce and the Einstein experience and some other things. But first, I'd love to get to know you a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been with Genesys, what your role is, all that good stuff?
Yeah, sure. I've been with Genesys just about 4 years now. I'm presently an enterprise architect within the global pre-sales architecture team. I have done mid-market solution consulting on the West Coast of the United States. I've been part of the Competency Center when it first founded, with as a specialist on the Genesys Cloud CX platform, and then my present role. I have been working closely with many of our largest and most strategic customers and partners around CX design, implementations, and prototypes. And it just so happens that the world's biggest CRM platform and the world's leading experience as a service platform often collide in those accounts. And I've had a pleasure of really learning how Salesforce and Genesys Cloud bring the best out of each other.
Cool. Well, I can't wait to hear more about it. I know my job in this is going to be pretty easy because it sounds like you have a presentation ready. So I get to kind of sit back and relax a little bit while you show off. So what do you think? You want to get started?
Yeah, let's roll. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do a live demonstration of how web messaging interacts with Genesys Cloud for Salesforce, and how we've extended that to use a Lightning component to surface knowledge recommendations using Einstein. So let's go.
Cool. Perfect.
So let's send a web message through to Genesys Cloud CX and see how this works.
It's amazing how smart these machines are.
It's amazing. All right, so as you can see, I started a web messaging session. From that web messaging session, I answered it as an agent inside of Salesforce Service Console, Service Cloud. So of course, I've got all my transcript data from my web messaging session. I can interact with my web visitor. But importantly here, I also have a Lightning utility app that I've deployed that I've named Agent Assist. And as you can see, it's surfacing the 5 most likely knowledge articles stored in Salesforce that are likely relevant to this conversation. You can see confidence scores. All of this is coming back from Salesforce Einstein. So this is a direct integration with the full Einstein stack. We're using full Salesforce stack. We've got Einstein for predictive analysis based on the content. We're using Salesforce knowledge all inside of the Service Cloud delivery mechanism. And you'll see here as I update this, you're going to see that instantly I'm going to get a change in responses back from Einstein. So that's real-time integration, giving me that nice predictive analytics for Agent Assist, all inside of that universe, which is going to keep the agents very focused on a single application, single desktop, and really drive their productivity. All of this is being powered by an open source project that Genesys has published on our GitHub, so you can download that. You can extend and modify that as needed for your particular business use cases, which is going to make it very extendable to the particular needs that you have. And you can see here, clicking through, it's just going to take me straight to that knowledge article. However, that is packaged up inside of Salesforce with whatever tooling is available there.
Awesome. When this topic came up in the community, it was kind of a funny thing because it came up in a discussion post, and one person said, I don't know if there's much to show. And then somebody else came in and said, like some changes have happened. So just out of curiosity, what are some of the big changes that have happened recently to somebody who may not have played with this functionality in like a year or so?
So there are a couple of things. Firstly, again, it's extendable. I've personally taken the liberty of extending this to be able to consume other media types out of the box. This works with chat and web messaging, and it is part of the Lightning framework. So it's a Lightning component. We've modernized it. When it first released, it was an Aura component. So that means that you have more deployment options. You can track Lightning messaging and events, which of course are raised by Genesys Cloud. That's the modern go forward way to integrate applications and communicate between components inside of Salesforce. So as an example, that also allows us to further bring into scope things like Einstein Next Best Action. So let's go ahead and bring through a new chat session. That one's been ended, so let's check the status of my case. And You can see here, if we're going to look some information up, it's going to get my information to cross-reference me inside of Salesforce. I've got, of course, a messaging flow that's looking into Salesforce with a data action, grabbing back particulars about this particular case. But now I want to speak with an agent. And yep, I sure do. Now we're going to pop a case. Now I've got this deployed here where Einstein next best action is configured to track the current utterances of any conversation that is going on, again, any channel. And I've got that deployed within my case page layout. So here I've got no recommendations available right now. If I go ahead and say, you will see that nearly instantly, my next best action is going to offer a proper recommendation. So assuming an insurance vertical, maybe bundling my policies is going to reduce cost and be the best method to proceed with this customer. So right away, based on the utterance of that conversation, along with any other profile details about that contact or account, I'm able to make the prescriptive recommendation that is optimized as the true next best action within this customer's journey. So that's one extension in addition to the additional channels that we're now supporting. And then lastly, because we've migrated this from an R component to a Lightning component, it's very easy to move it from the utility bar and put our knowledge article suggestions right inside of the page layout. So now my service agent who's working cases can see next best action and knowledge surfacing, all without having to open up different tabs or different options off of the Lightning utility bar. So those sorts of enhancements really open up the world, the universe to you to utilize that real-time communication content to drive strategic capabilities within Salesforce to optimize that employee experience, which is what we're all about here at Genesys.
That's really awesome. And in the interest of transparency, I used to use Salesforce like every day as part of my job way back when I was an account support representative. And today I still use it, but mostly for reporting. Einstein is honestly something I'm not familiar with. I like to plead my ignorance. Is it included with like a general Salesforce subscription, or is it an add-on?
It is an add-on. It is the brand name for Salesforce's universe of artificial intelligence or AI capabilities. It's what's going to service next best actions, predictive recommendations, predictions of likelihood to take some recommendation, the intent utterances. It's also what Salesforce uses to drive their own chatbot capabilities. So what we're showing here is the depth and power of the open platform of Genesys Cloud CX. Without having a direct pre-packaged or pre-configured integration, we're able to use that entire universe through our Salesforce SDK and our Genesys Cloud for Salesforce managed package. Really powerful combination.
Cool. And it looks here like this is a utility app. Can this be placed in a page layout or other Lightning web components?
Yep, absolutely. Again, one of the changes, one of the adaptations is making it a Lightning web component. We've been able to make it placeable right inside the page layouts as you see here. And I get that question from customers quite frequently because they don't want their agents to have to go find a tab and open a tab. So this allows you to embed it as just a natural part of the workflow. And if you noticed on the prior interaction when the contact object opened, it wasn't deployed there. So maybe if it's something I would use once in a while when working with a contact or a lead, I'd leave it in utility bar. If it's something I'll frequently use when I'm doing case management or some other custom object, maybe place it directly in that page layout as I've done here. Very flexible because of the current architecture and how we've adopted that within the project. Okay, cool. And I know when you were doing it all over chat. Is there an option to do voice messaging or something similar? Yes. For those of you who don't know, last year we released a new event through our notifications channel, which is the transcription notification, and it will emit out the utterances spoken by the internal party as well as the outside party on a voice conversation on a regular cadence. And you can capture those utterances as an event stream and raise that as well. So you can get the same knowledge surfacing and the same next best action recommendations on any channel, including voice, right through Salesforce, which is incredibly powerful because now I'm giving a consistent employee experience that is optimized to their workflows, not bound by the channel over which the customer prefers to engage.
That's really cool. And just looking at all of this, it's really neat to take in, and I don't want to miss any kind of like key functionality. What do you think? What about this excites you the most?
Well, I think one of the things that excites me the most about this, let me pull up that workspace. Well, what excites me the most about this is the extensibility. Many of the clients that I work with who work in Salesforce have a pool of Salesforce developers, and they're uniquely tailoring it to their needs because this is all not only prepackaged but exposed through our SDK. Our customers can embed this in their own custom Lightning Web components, their own workflows. So whatever unique use case is going to create the most value for your enterprise, enhancing that employee experience, making the customer journey simpler and more pleasant, is open to you. These are prepackaged ways that you can take advantage of it out of the box. But I think most of our customers really find the value in the fact that they can link this with the other work they're doing, and the sky's the limit. There's really nothing that's going to hold you back from being able to realize the value of the real-time communications content in those workflows that you're designing so that your employees are empowered to give the best possible services to customers each and every time on the channel of customer choice.
That's really awesome. And I don't know how much you know about the community and what's been going on there, but one of the big questions that's come up in the past week, and it all hit while this request for your content came in, is the idea of like how we communicate new features, how we do betas, all of that stuff. We have a new beta community that's what this episode is kind of being built on. But as far as I know, you aren't going to be doing any betas in that community. Just out of curiosity, how do you currently run betas when you're testing new functionality on this? How do you all find your members? And I'm just curious myself.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, so I'm not part of the product management team, so I don't run betas, but I'm part of the internal team that consumes the beta. So my role as an enterprise architect means that I'm constantly getting early access to the content of the feature deliveries when they're available for betas or limited availability, which means I get to go hands-on keyboard, figure out what works, what doesn't, what are the value creating use cases, and then bring those to customers to validate that in fact, yes, this is valuable. Yes, it's designed properly to bring that value to our customers, and then give that feedback back to our product management teams as they're working their way through the betas, because of course, betas and limited availability are just as much about usability and effectiveness as they are about validating there aren't any defects in the software. So I think I'm kind of straddling the fence of roles within the beta community, which allows me, I think, to bring a lot of value into that community, because I have the perspective of what can I do with this stuff? How well is it working? And why would I consider it in the first place?
Sure. Well, I don't want to be the first person to tell you, but just remember, you have value.
That's great, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, I'm here for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I really loved it. I've asked you a couple of questions. Anything else you wanted to demo while we're here?
I think just one last thing that's sort of tangential, but again, keeping in that theme of what's possible and what's valuable. Everything that I've shown here is about real-time communication, but all that content's being stored inside of Genesys Cloud and Salesforce. And we have lots of customers who say, I now want to consume the analytics side of that data in my Salesforce reports and dashboards. Guess what? Here's an example of that. I'm pulling all of that data right into my dashboard, so I don't have to leave this user experience to see exactly what's going on in the health of my customer experience centers. I'll leave you with that.
Cool. That's a good looking dashboard, much better than anything I've ever built. Hey, the great thing about this, Brian, is you came in just really with somebody wanting to know the bare bones of what's going on with this integration. I think the door is wide open for if somebody has more questions. Maybe we can get you back on the Q&A show. Maybe you could even join us live in the community for an AMA event or something. Because just in the past couple of weeks that we've interacted, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And I think Fawn, who originally asked for more information on this, will appreciate it too.
Well, that's great. I'm happy to do it, and it was a pleasure. And if you want to bring me back for follow-on or AMA, I would love the opportunity.
Cool. Well, everybody, there you have it. If you want more information from Brian, just let us know.
Right on. Enjoy your day.
You too, bud. Bye. All right, everyone, that does it for this week's episode. Before we go, I promised we would announce the winner of the Genesys Cloud community's pool to guess what date we would hit 3,000 members, and we hit it. For those of you who were around last week, we had an Ask Me Anything event in the community forum, and that pushed us just over the 3,000 mark. So really cool that we hit that number. Thank you all for participating. It was a lot of fun doing the contest. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to announce the winner, who is none other than Lisa Calandra. Congratulations on your prize. You get to pick the very first prize from the prize wall. For everybody else, tons of contests are going on. Keep in mind, we have a page dedicated to all of the contests that are running in the community. So check out the prize wall or the Genesys Casual community to see how you can take home a prize of your own. And until next time, enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. We hope it was helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. Each week, our host and experts review community discussions and debate what content to discuss, so your voice matters. Did we miss something? Do you have a question for the show? Let us know. Join the conversation at the Genesys online community. As a Genesys customer or partner, you can create an account. Just click the sign in button found on most pages and follow the necessary instructions to create an account. Also, feel free to email us at qashow@genesys.com. We'd love to hear from you. If this is your first episode, welcome. You can view our entire archives. Go to the helpful links panel found on most community pages and find the QA Show archive that interests you. We appreciate your support of the show and the community. Cheers.